Hi, I'm Mary Catherine, and welcome to my table. Today we are going to make a Southern staple. This side dish is one that you don't want to miss. We're going to fry some okra. This is a pretty simple recipe, but there's one little thing, one little trick that somebody taught me years ago that we're going to do that's just a little bit different than you may have heard of. And it's going to give that okra just a little extra zip and zing, and you're not going to really know what it is when you taste it, but it's going to make it so good. And you can do it a few different ways. I'm going to go ahead and put my oil in the pan, and you want to be generous with the oil because you do not want your okra to stick to the pan, and you don't want to have to go back later and add more oil either, because then that's going to mess up your temperature while you're frying it. It's going to bring the temperature down, and we want it to stay constant the whole time. So be sure and put plenty of okra or plenty of oil in your pan that you're going to fry your okra in. And we're going to do this on fairly high heat. We're going to do it on about medium high. And so you need to let your oil get good and hot and get sizzling before you add your okra to it. Really, it's so easy. You can do it one of two ways. Today, we're just going to go ahead and use the okra that you buy in the grocery store that's already breaded. You know, if you have your own okra and you want to bread it yourself, that's great. I do that too and put it up in the summer and have it in my freezer. But then when I run out, I go ahead and buy some at the store. So that's what we're going to use today, and it is going to be just as good. It's one of those vegetables that I really can't tell a whole lot of difference between if I use it fresh out of the garden or if we use it freshly frozen. And breaded already. So anyway, that's what we're going to use today. While our oil continues to heat up, we're going to get our okra ready to add. And another little tip is that you don't want to fill your pan too full of okra. You want the okra to have room to breathe. You know, if there's too much in it, a couple of things are going to happen. It's going to be more likely to stick to the pan and also to stick together. And you want your okra to have that room to breathe and not start sticking to each other. And then it can fry a little bit more evenly as well. So we want to be sure that we don't add too much to the pan and, you know, give it that space that it needs to cook just right. It's going to be crunchy on the outside and it's going to be so good. Okay, now here's what we want to do. Our oil feels pretty hot, so let's just put one piece in and see if it sizzles good. That way we'll know if our oil is hot enough yet. And be careful when you do this, it's going to pop a little bit. Okay, that looks like it's sizzling pretty good. So we can probably go ahead and add our okra. And again, you'll want to do this as gently as you can because that oil is going to pop. There's no way to keep your stove clean while you're frying okra. I'm just going to tell you. Okay. Okay. Let's do about that much. And then I'm going to spread it out a little bit. Remember, we want to give it room to breathe, so where it's not going to stick all together. So we're going to spread it out as best we can. And just let it go from that. I'm going to do a couple of things now. It is already seasoned. I'm going to give it just a smidge more salt, just a real quick once over. And then here's the other thing, the trick I was mentioning before. An older gentleman at a church we went to years ago taught me this trick. He said to add just a little splash of vinegar to your pan when you're frying okra. And it gives it just that little extra bit of flavor. So that's what we're going to do here. And for this big pan, I'm going to add just one or two splashes around. It's going to pop a little bit when you add this too, so be careful. Okay. It's going to sizzle a little more. Okay, one, two, just a little. You don't need much. Okay. Boy, that's going to really make it grow. And oh, you can smell it too when you fry it this way. And add that vinegar, you can just smell all those flavors coming together. And it's going to make it so delicious. So right now, I want to make sure our temperature's okay. I had bumped it up just a little bit to heat the pan faster because it does take a few minutes. So anyway, let's make sure we're on medium high so we're not too hot. And then you'll notice that I'm using my old cast iron skillet too. I love frying okra in the cast iron skillet. You can do it in other skillets as well. I've used nonstick skillets before, and that's fine. If that's what you have and want to use, it'll do just great. But I think the best way to fry it is in your cast iron skillet. So if you have one, use it for this. So, and then we just want to let the okra sit. We don't want to stir it too much. We don't want to mess with it too much, because anything we do to it at this stage in the cooking is just going to kind of make some of that breading come off. And we want that breading to stay and stick to the okra as much as possible. So we want to just kind of let it do its thing. You'll want to watch it though. It's going to take a few minutes, but when it starts to look like it might be getting a little golden brown on one side, then we will kind of turn the okra over so that it cooks evenly on the side that's up right now as well. So anyway, just let it go for a few minutes, but keep a watch on it because you don't want it to burn, and that can happen very quickly. So you do need to keep a watch on it. Stay in your kitchen, set a timer if you need to, but it's going to take a few minutes. These just kind of separate a little bit. Okay, you can see the okra is starting to get a little bit of color to it. So it's getting close, but we're not quite ready to turn it yet. Probably let it go a couple more minutes. Okay, so this has been going for about 8 minutes, and you can see the color where the golden is starting to get a little bit darker. So we're going to go ahead and turn it now. And you just slide under, and again, try to touch it just as little as you possibly can. So you just want to go around and try to only touch what you need once, if possible. You're going to have a little bit of overage, but you get the idea. Okay, just a little bit over here we need to still turn. And you can see that color now that we've turned it. How it's kind of golden, starting to get a darker golden. So we want to let the same thing happen to this other side of the okra. And it won't take as long because it's already cooked some on this side, even though it wasn't turned toward the bottom. But it's already cooked enough that it won't take as long on this side. Okay. All right. Now I'm just gonna leave it. Let it do its thing again. And you really need to watch it extremely closely this time, because here at the end, I mean, it's going to start to get brown so quickly, and it's going to go from not ready to pull out just right away. So you really want to keep an eye on it now. But again, don't be touching it. Don't be messing with it. Just wait until the end. And I like mine a little bit extra crispy, so mine gets fairly good and brown. Okay. Now some of these right here I feel like need to be turned again. So I'm going to carefully try to do that. Make sure they're going to get brown on all those sides that we want. So, okay, it's not quite ready, but it's getting close, especially over on this side of the pan. And we may need to take part of it out and then let the other stay in for just an extra minute or so and then get it out. So it's getting close. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take it out over here on this right side. And I've got a bowl lined with some paper towels, and it is greasy, so you do need to line whatever you put it in with some paper towels. Let it soak up the extra grease so you're not eating more than you have to. Okay, I'm just going to kind of scoop it out. Let as much oil drip off of this as we can. Then I'm going to let what's in there do for just another minute. It seems to need just a little bit longer. So I'm going to kind of scoot it carefully over to the middle. Let it keep going just a little bit. Okay, time to get the last of the okra out. Add it to our bowl. Just looks like it's turned out perfect today. There we go. And that is what fried okra looks like. Let's let it cool just a minute and then we'll give it a taste. Thank you for joining me today on Mary Catherine's Table. If you like this content, I hope you'll think about subscribing. And remember to go out today and show a little bit of kindness. Now, let's taste our okra. Still a little bit hot, but I think I can handle it now. All right, let's just get one of those and just pop it in your mouth. Let's see how good it is. I don't know if you can hear that crunch, but that's exactly what you want. Thanks for joining me.